Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Rolling along, season's almost over. I have Manasquan Jr., Dorothy Loffredo. Dorothy, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
How do you think your season's going so far?
So far, so good. I mean, obviously this year very different, looks very different, feels very different. But I think that our school did a good job with getting us, in the gym as safely as possible, getting us the right amount of games. We've got obviously some competitive games that we played. So overall, it's going really well.
Yeah, and Lisa did a good job, putting, Manasquan's always one of the best teams in the state. She did a good job, getting you girls the best competition in such a reduced, season. Tough. I talked to a lot of soccer coaches. It was a tough season trying to get just to fill out the schedule. And how is it, not knowing whether, you get the phone call, oh, your game's canceled today because, whether the other team had a case or, precaution from Manasquan. How is that, rolling in the back of your head?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, you appreciate what you have and when you have it, a lot more than ever. So, you prepare for what you can. And, if you get that phone call, this is getting canceled, that you move on and kind of gotta just keep rolling with it. And, you do whatever you can to keep yourself, playing and safe and, you know, as ready as you can.
That's a great mindset because a lot of these situations are out of the player's control, so you just roll with the punches and just keep yourself mentally and physically ready.
Yeah.
Last year when COVID first hit, did Manasquan go full, so everybody went full virtual? How did you find that adjustment?
So, early on, never did I ever think that a year from now I'll be doing this. It's crazy. The adjustment at first was definitely difficult for me because I like the face-to-face learning at school. I definitely do better in an environment like that. So it's definitely different, an adjustment, but as we realized that was going to be the reality of it for the rest of the school year, you learn. I think our teachers did a really great job setting up Zoom calls. We use Microsoft Teams and that kind of stuff to really make sure that we were staying on top of our work and stuff. So, they made it an easier adjustment for us.
When I talked to the players, when I interviewed players at, after basketball season last year, excuse me, I said it's a good learning experience for you girls because when you get to college, some classes aren't always going to be in person, and it gives you a good sense of time management and stuff. Did you find that to be the case?
Yeah, definitely. Just and like you said, in college, that's going to be how it is sometimes. Virtual, some in person. So it
Yeah.
was definitely a good introduction to that. Kind of like learn how to do it now. Now's your opportunity to get acclimated to it.
Uh, Moving into basketball, how old were you when you started playing basketball?
So I was in first grade. So probably 5 or 6. I was a little young. And I played for my school team up in Hoboken. It was co-ed in first grade for the school. So I first started.
Yes, I noticed, my niece, she played 2 years ago and it was co-ed. And did you find that difficult? Because when I was at the games, it seemed like the boys were taking all the shots.
I mean, it's so long ago, but I just remember going. I didn't think anything of it. That's always kind of how it was. I didn't know any better. Uh, I didn't think anything of it.
Did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Yeah, so I played soccer. That was honestly the first sport I ever played, and I played through 8th grade, and I only
Okay.
dropped because my focus was going to ball. Obviously coming into Manasquan, I knew. So soccer, tennis, golf, swimming, a
Oh, you
little
did
bit.
it all.
Yep. So yeah.
What made you pick basketball over soccer?
To be completely honest, when I lived up north, it was always soccer.
Yeah.
Moved to Manasquan, obviously the girls team was huge here.
Yeah.
So watching them, I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. And that's, when I decided, and I knew if I wanted to do that, I was going to have to prioritize it. So
A lot of players that I talk to, they comment on that, when the younger kids come to a game, you're inspiring them, and it might make them choose a sport over
Yeah.
another, which is great. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, so I have two little brothers. The one's a freshman this year,
Okay.
and then the other one's in 7th grade.
Do they play basketball too?
Yep, both of them play. My brother made the freshman team. He plays football, baseball too.
Okay.
And then Michael in 7th grade, he plays basketball, baseball, a little bit of soccer. So, yep.
Do you try helping them?
It never goes well, they don't like hearing instructions from their older sister. We'll play a little pickup one-on. It is great when you need a rebounder or,
Yeah.
to play a little defense on you. They're great. So, yeah.
Especially, the beginning of the pandemic when you really, it was really forbidden to play with anybody else other than your family. It has to come in family that you come in handy that you have two siblings.
Definitely.
That I joked with the Passat sisters when I interviewed them, last summer. At least, two very competitive girls. At least you had that advantage when nobody else. Some people just playing by themselves, and
Yeah,
I
sure.
go to the park to shoot around. It gets boring pretty quickly when you're shooting by yourself, especially when you're chasing the misses and stuff.
Yes, you're on rebounds.
I like to ask the players this: what have your parents meant to you, in your development?
I mean, they're more than a ride to and from practice at the end of the day. They're the ones when, you have a tough game or something, they're here at home ready to support you, ready to talk you through it, that kind of stuff. So they mean everything. It wouldn't be possible without them. Them always being here for me, it means a lot.
Did they play any basketball when they were younger?
Actually, no. Given my dad's like 6'3", whatever, everyone always asks the question. Nope, no basketball. My dad's sister played for Donovan Catholic and then Columbia, but not mom or dad.
Does she ever give you any pointers? Playing
Yeah,
Columbia, that's a big deal.
She's great. She went through it and
Yeah.
us and everything. So it's always nice. Obviously, times have changed. She always says it's different, but it helps to have someone to talk to who knows, the game and that kind of stuff. Not that my parents don't, but
yeah,
someone who has been through it.
Yeah, and you're right. The game definitely, when I, high school and wrote for the newspaper, it's so more fast paced. Back then a high scoring game was 50-55, and now, I feel like if you're not scoring 70, it's a low scoring game these days. Last question before we start getting into like the AAU and high school. Growing up, who was a role model to you?
So since I loved soccer when I was younger, I loved Alex Morgan. I thought she was awesome as a soccer player. I always looked up to her. I'm a Yankees fan, so I love Derek Jeter. Kind of who he was for the baseball community and stuff. That's definitely someone who is very inspiring.
I had, and not this has to do anything to do with our interview, but I had season tickets back 99, 2000, and 01 for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It just became a little too much trying to get to the Bronx every day.
It's difficult, yes.
Real quick side note, were you ever at the old stadium?
Yes, yep, okay. We were. And then since I lived up north, when they moved back in, was it 08 or 09?
09, they moved into the new one.
We went and saw the ticker tape parade and all that. Yep, yeah.
I remember my first ticker tape with 96 after the 96 season, and I was 15. It's so fun, especially after them not winning for so long, and that's good that you got to enjoy that experience.
Yeah,
I say everyone should go to a ticker, whatever sport it is. There's nothing like a parade like that, especially in New York City. All right, get back on track to basketball. Now, you said you started playing basketball up north. Do you remember who your first coach was? It's
so
no big deal if you know.
My dad coached. Mrs. Shanklapur was her name. She was the coach up there, and then one of my dad's buddies, Terrence. Those were the three coaches back up north.
Now, when you moved down here, when did you start playing for the Bells?
So I didn't start playing till the Bells until around 6th or 7th grade. Before that, it was the Wildcats.
Okay.
So
Who was your coach for the Wildcats?
Mark Donnelly.
Mark? Okay.
Yep,
Oh,
he
Mark,
was the
Mark's great.
Wildcat, and the very beginning of Bells, he coached
Okay.
us too.
What are some things you were able to learn from Mark? Because everybody, Mark had a great high school career in the short conference, and he had a great career in college. So what are some things you were able to learn from him?
Um, a lot to begin with. The one who really wrote me into basketball, he was like, you're doing this. But at the time, I was like the tallest kid. Now, not anymore. But being like one of the taller ones back then, he was one of the first ones who was like form shooting, and he would stand at me with a basket back in like the Mounts gym, and we would shoot form over and over. So that's one of my like very vivid memories of that. So definitely my shooting overall, like the game, definitely.
Yeah, and that's a great person to learn shooting from, because everybody knows how many points up there, all-time lists, short conference. So you currently Fagan's your coach now, right? What have you learned from Joe and his wife too, right? Both of them coach.
Yep.
Yeah. What have you learned from them?
Over the summer, he really did a great job of taking me kind of from the inside and putting me behind the 3-point line, and really stressing to me that, at the next level, that's the position that I'm really going to have to focus on playing. And he really taught me and drilled into my brain, to get outside behind the arc, to have my feet set, ready to shoot, all that kind of stuff. So he's really been great for, introducing me to that.
I love that you said that, because a lot of coaches, you know, they play to win, and he, right there, he's trying to teach you what you're going to need to do at the next level, which, I think, to me, that's, I used to coach soccer, that's the key is, how do you get the kids to the next level, and where they're going to fit in the next level. It's not so much just getting the W's all the time. Granted that's good, but the track record to me is how many kids are successful at the next level, and to me that's great that he told you that you have to get a little bit out of your comfort zone, for the next level. Who are a couple of your teammates, the local girls?
Yeah, so obviously I've been playing with Brooke and Mary since I was in 5th grade.
Oh.
So we've been through it from the beginning. I played with a lot of my friends through the rec program here in Manasquan. As I got into the Bells, I played with Amaya Bray, Abby Ferguson, Ashley O'Connor, Maureen Stapleton most recently, and many more. But it's just crazy, like the relationships you make and how easy it is to become friends with all these people. It's great.
Yeah, that's one thing I miss coaching is, especially the time playing the games is fun, but the bonding time, going to the dinners and, staying in the hotels together, especially, when you're the younger, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 age, the kids love that. I was going to ask this later, but, you brought up your team. What's the relationship, your class, a very strong class at Manasquan. What's your relationship with Mary, Brooke, and Georgia? Because to me, I was gonna bring this up later, but last year everyone was like rebuilding year, and I didn't think of that. I thought your team was just gonna, keep going, and it was gonna be a great development, for your juniors and senior years with the talent you have. So, what's your relationship with those players?
Yeah. So we've been playing with each other a little bit, and then against each other actually between elementary school basketball, early AAU. Georgia played for the Shore Shots, while me, Mary, and Brooke played for Wildcats and Bells. So we've known each other, and then we obviously coming to high school together formed a bond on the court and especially off the court. They're some of my best friends. It's really awesome that we've been able to come this far together.
And did you think that was an advantage? Because it's nerve-wracking for any freshman, but you girls are in such a strong program. 4 of you are freshmen. Do you think that kind of helped, having that bond, that players knew that all talented, and you got you girls are looking up to Faith and Lowe? But did you think it made it a little easier having other classmates with you?
Yeah, the transition was definitely easier, knowing you had people you were familiar with to go through it with you.
Speaking of high school, when you go into school, basketball season about to start, what were some of the goals you might have set yourself for all 4 years?
Obviously watching them all through school, the goal is those big championships, short conference championships, TOCs, that kind of stuff. So it's something that we're definitely still chasing after, even though, we've cut short a little bit here.
How about just for your freshman year? What were some goals you set yourself for freshman year?
Well, for starters, I wanted to make the varsity team. And then log minutes was really the big thing, get as much experience as I could. Obviously coming into high school, the pace is a lot faster and that kind of stuff. So really just adjusting and learning to play at that speed, making quick decisions in the game. So I just really wanted to get familiar with it my freshman year.
I thought you had a very good, freshman year. The games I went to, everyone says, I favor Manasquan and St. Rose, and it might be because I root for the Co-Star, but I just loved watching, especially the way you play, and Georgia plays and Brooke. It's just you're a fun group to watch. What Before we move on to like your sophomore, your last season, what were some things you were able to learn from Lola and Faith? Both Division I players. Lola had a very good freshman year. Unfortunately, her sophomore year, season didn't happen for the Ivy League. Faith's having a very good sophomore year. What were some things you learned from them?
Yeah, I mean, they taught us how to compete from day one. I can remember guarding Faith in practice. I was like, what am I doing here? But they taught us how to play hard all the time, never to take anything for granted, any game for granted. So they were great freshman year.
I joked with a college coach if I would be able to score 1 point against Faith. I don't even think when I was younger I would have been able to, but yeah, your team is so fun to watch, freshman year, and it's probably good you're able to pick the brains of two girls that are going to high next level.
Yeah.
Now moving to your last season, your sophomore year, what were some of the things you wanted to improve from your freshman year?
Improving, I definitely wanted to become more of an offensive threat, and then continue to get better at defense, not only guarding, players in the post, stepping out to the perimeter and being able to guard people out there, learning how to make those quick decisions, throughout the entire 4 quarters of a game.
Something that, I'm sure you've seen my tweets, and, I talked to, Mark about, you, Mary, and Georgia, you make so many great passes from the post, and I noticed it a lot from you your freshman year, and then, even more last year, and to me, those are the, everyone knows everyone gets the accolades when you score points, but to me, those little things are so key. And, especially, you got that nice, foul shot, pull up jumper, you have, and you make so many good decisions. Where did you learn that, making that, extra pass? And, you always seem, when you're at the foul line, it seems like they two players come to you and you just make that nice little dish off to whoever's cut into the hoop. Where did you pick that up from?
I have no idea. It might have just come, I obviously do take a lot of pride in, getting my teammates shots, obviously looking for myself, but, it's exciting when you get someone open and, you get the assist and that you're making your team better.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. So I don't know where I picked it up, to tell you the truth. Coach always drills us in practice, making a quick decision based on how the defense guards you. So that's definitely helped, get that foul line pass. Yes.
Now talking last season, now the media, everyone, Faith and Lola graduated. It was rebuilding. I said before, I didn't think that year. What was the team's mindset going into last season?
Obviously it's frustrating when everyone's doubting you,
Yeah.
in a way. But at the end of the day, it only made us, we obviously wanted to win anyway, but it only made us more and, prove everyone wrong. Being in the underdogs, it takes a lot of the pressure off you, for sure, but we definitely came out and proved ourselves every game, I think.
I agree. Like, I said to people, some people were like, oh, yeah, they didn't expect, they expected you girls to be good, but not, the level where you were. But to me, it didn't shock me, after watching you girls play freshman year. I figured, you already saw some big games already, and and Lisa's a great coach. I knew, I thought your team was just going to, be as good as they were. Um, talk this season. Did you think this season was going to happen?
After all the time off, all the uncertainty through the AU season, I knew they were going to have to give us something. Obviously our season ended with Manchester last year, but I know that who got to move on, they got their postseason stripped of them, and it stinks. So I knew that they were going to, give us something to make up for that, and I believed that I wanted it to happen. So I'm glad.
You brought up Manchester real quick. They defeated your team, 2 years in a row. Is it disappointing that you did get to play them during the regular season, but everyone regular season isn't the same as state time. Disappointed you're not getting that third matchup this year to see if you guys knock off Destiny.
Yeah, who knows what'll happen in the postseason? I know season's supposed to come out soon, so we could end up seeing them again. We don't know. But it's exciting, obviously. Every game in the postseason, nothing's guaranteed. So it's fun to play them, especially being, them being such a competitive team.
Yeah. How did you keep fresh, like not even physically, mentally, with the season being pushed back?
Yeah, it was tough. Luckily I do have, my teammates are my friends. So, we were all able to, kind of go through it together, and, we could stress our concerns to each other. So mentally it definitely helped that way. And also, just having some hope and some faith that eventually something good come of all the waiting, and, luckily it did.
What are some goals you had? The season's almost over already, but for yourself this year, what were some of the goals you set for yourself?
For myself, I really wanted to get in the off season. I put a lot of work into my strength and conditioning, I felt. So my goal was to, get up and down the court quicker, guard girls around the perimeter more often than, obviously I need to guard the post for the high school, but to be able to step outside and do that, to get quicker off the dribble, that kind of stuff. So overall, just improve my offensive and defensive game.
I'm glad you said strength and conditioning, because everyone was posting the videos of them working, doing their skills, and players reached out that first day of tryouts / practice, and they were saying they're sucking wind. And I had conversations with coaches about this. What kind of shape were players going to come in? Because COVID kind of, a lot of girls were just working on their skills, and understandably, you forget about the conditioning part. So that was good that you recognize, you worked on that both. And the Bells program, and you played a lot during the summer, so it probably gave you a little bit of advantage, coming into the season where you weren't out of shape.
Yeah.
Real quick, next year, long way away, but hopefully we have a full season. What are some goals that you're hoping for the team? With the squad, it's probably TOC is the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what we have in mind. It's unfortunately there's no shot at it this year, but next year that's the goal. That's what we want at the end.
As being a senior leader next year, one of the senior leaders, what are some of the things you're trying to pass on to the underclassmen?
Definitely that, working hard will get you places. Doing the little things is huge and will help the team in any way. And just never, if this year hasn't taught me anything else, you never take anything for granted, whether it be, going to school or whether it be an opponent or anything. You have to go in and battle for the outcome that you want, no matter what.
You up for some rapid fire questions?
All right.
What's your favorite color?
Green.
Green? Okay. I think you're the first person to say green. Usually I get blue.
Yeah, green and blue.
What's your favorite TV show?
All American.
All American? I have not seen that. and probably one of the first people that didn't say Grey's Anatomy.
I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I'm still getting.
How about movie? Favorite movie?
I like the Pitch Perfect movies. Random.
I'm a big Anna Kendrick fan. How about favorite song? If you don't have a favorite song, favorite group or genre?
I like Sunday Morning. It's by like Montama. It's not a like popular song, but I like it.
Some of the best songs are not popular.
Yeah.
Um, Favorite subject?
I like AP Comp this year.
Anything with the letters AP is no go for me. um, what is something you enjoy doing when you're not playing basketball?
Um, I like bike riding,
Hmm.
and I also have started playing tennis this summer and stuff. So those two things.
Tennis was my sport in high school.
Really?
I was all right. If The key was if you got my serve back, I was in trouble, but it was hard to hit my serve. But if it came back, then I was in trouble. Um, Before we wrap up, I want to talk future. What are some things you're looking at, or for college, like location, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I'm kind of open to anything.
Okay.
Growing up in the city, I liked it up there. So I would definitely go to a city school. Living in the suburbs in a small town like now, I am definitely up for that. Um, East Coast would be great, but if an opportunity arrived somewhere else, I would be open to it.
Okay. Do you know what you want to study?
Um, Pre-law would be, yeah, that's what I want. But if the school doesn't offer that, then something in business for sure.
I say I so impressed. I know I say this every interview, and people who listen to every single interview probably get tired. You girls are so impressive because, like I said, when I was in school, you either played sports or you studied. And now, pre-law, doctors, physical therapists. It's just so impressive that you kids play basketball at such a high, or even soccer. I see the same thing soccer players, and you maintain such good grades. It's really I don't know how you girls follow time and sports now or 7 days a week. You're honing your craft back then. So good luck. Just chase your dreams. So you pre-law. Do you know what you would like to do after college?
I would like to be a sports agent. That's like my dream.
Awesome.
But I also think like a medical malpractice lawyer. That's awesome. So something along those lines. We'll see.
That's great. You kind of remind me. I don't know if you ever watched The Sopranos, but Meadow. She was first one to be a doctor, and then she switched to law. So, last question, then I'll let you go and get ready for practice. What advice would you give your younger self, or if your brothers listened to you, what advice you would give them?
I would tell my younger self not to worry about the little things in life, not to stress it. There's so much more that goes on, and to do what makes you happy at the end of the day, and don't let anyone tell you what you can or can't do when you want something.
Yeah, and that advice is great with what everyone's been through the last year. Especially kids your age. So that's great advice. All right, Dorothy, I'll let you go. I know you got practice in a little bit. Thank you for joining me, and I wish you luck the rest of the season. And I can't wait to get back into gym and next season and watch you girls play, and hopefully TOC finals next year.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
No problem, Dorothy. Thank you.
Bye.